Good morning, fellow Nigerians across the world. As always, I am George ONYIBE. And of course, this morning I want us to look at a message I simply titled, Self-Discovery is the Key to Growth. In this instance, Nigeria is going through a moment of turmoil. We have found ourselves in a precarious situation. And if we are unable to discover ourselves in the midst of this displayed shenanigan, believe me, we will be misplaced thereafter. And of course, since self-discovery is the key to growth, we must therefore always remember that our identity as well is fluid and of course shaped by our experience. Let me try to break it down. Nigeria, as you see, maybe you already know, but for the sake of the next generation and those who do not know yet, is a country that is made up of so many ethnic groups. And each of these ethnic groups, I tell you sincerely, has the capacity to become a nation of their own. But not everybody understood. Not everybody was able to discover themselves at the invent of the creation of Nigeria. But then we have three major ethnic groups who had already discovered themselves. We got independent as a nation. And I can tell you, the greatest project Nigerian has ever embarked on, that is still being sustained from inception to this very moment, is this desire, this notion that Nigeria must be one. Actually, it was not one from the beginning, but along the line, Umunakwe Thomas Agu Yorunsi made it one. And I want to believe that by the degree, we must be one. But before we go in depth analysis to the point I want to project to you, may I remind you that not until you discover yourself, they will be beating you around. And of course, if you had read the Game of Thrones, you will see there are a lot of moral lessons there. But just that most of us go into these histories of the past for entertainment and peradventure, who knows? As we speak today, as an Igbo man, you will discover that Emefiele is in custody. He's an Igbo man, the former central bank governor. And of course, I do not come here to tell you that he is right. And until he's proven guilty, I still cannot tell you that what he did was absolutely wrong. I would have said that if all the people who committed that crime with him were held behind bars, as Emefiele was. And so we can analyze it the way we like. But the end is that the issue regarding Emefiele is simply an act of political vendetta. But let it be that way. And of course, there are news on the social media already that Ifeanyi Okowa was arrested in Port Harcourt, having reported himself to the DSS, or is it EFCC, to give account of the money that was in his custody. And of course, every leader must understand that one of the responsibility, undeniable responsibility, is that you will redeem account. Every leader must have it at the back of their mind. Redeeming accountability is important. It's of the essence. Some of you may die without giving us account. But believe me, karma will catch up with your generation unborn. And I wish wherever you are going when you are dead, you will see what your action today will cause for your offspring. But then we wish nobody any bad. And so I would not want you to mess all of us up and then you die for your children who know nothing about your heinous crime against the indigenous people in the concept of one Nigeria to suffer for you. And if I had the grace, I will intercept of those of you who are not yet born, whose father has made our life misery, that you will not suffer for them. And I'm talking about self-discovery. Having said this, Igbo people, Eka people, Anyoma people, and you, minority of Nigeria, you have not discovered yourself. And whatever game they play, you will suffer it. But believe me, it is my sincere desire that before our time is up, we will see a nation we can love, a nation we can proudly call our own, a nation that could be the envy of the whole world, Nigerian has the capacity. We have the natural resources. We have the human capacity. We have the technical know-how. You can name them. But then we are suffering. It would have been convenient in a time like this. We all descend on the incumbent leadership. Maybe President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. And then we write them off. We talk about all the jargons we have in our mouth about them. But the truth is, if you do not discover yourself, you will not grow. And that is where we come in. Let me explain. As a child, out of curiosity, I've been asking a particular question because we are all victims of our occupation. And I discovered how Nigeria was created in the eras of the monarch. The monarch were powerful enough to influence the decision and change the activities of the imperialists. Why were they not able to stop the imperialists from taking over our life? Why was it that the Oni of Ife could not stop this evil plague that has befelled us as a people? Why is it that the Atta of Igala could not stop the clock, the hand of clock that we go through this? And I ask again, why is it that the Nana of Ishekiri, they could not prevent this day from coming? And this is because there were zero knowledge of self-discovery. And those who have been able to discover themselves, they use us like a guinea pig. Understand, it's not to blame anybody. It is to expose the truth so that everyone will be free. Remember our topic. Since we have understood that discovery, self-discovery, becomes the only key to our growth, we must therefore understand that our identity can only be fluid and shaped by our experience. So all our experience, all your experience, you must use it to forge your identity. You must use it to protect your identity. You must use it to salvage your identity. Because if they touch it, you will enter another stage of evil that is yet to befell Nigeria. Forget about what you're going through now. This is just the beginning. It will get worse than it has ever been. But I tell you, at the climax, in the end of this journey, everyone will be saved. And now coming back. In the absence of self-discovery, experiment was carried out in Nigeria. And maybe those people who are jumping from one political office to another don't even have this knowledge. Let me tell you. If you go to Kogi State, and then you go to Bende State, there's simply experiment ground. But this is the time for us to discover ourselves. If you look at Kogi, you have different ethnic groups that are majority trapped inside Kogi. You don't even know who you are talking to. When you address a Kogi person, are you talking to a Ibira person? Are you talking to a Gala? Are you talking to Yoruba? Who exactly are these Kogi people? It's experiment ground. And not until they discover themselves, Atta of a Gala will remain irrelevant. You're coming back to Bendel State, the then old Bendel State. It's still another experiment ground. Are we Bini? Are we Yoruba? Are we Hausa? Are we Igbo? And so, in the absence of self-discovery, that is why you see all these things were going to be used and be dumped. And when you talk too much, they will mess you up. Though, behind their knowledge, they never know that we become the key, either to their making or to their destruction. I need you to understand two moral lessons. And number one is that if they are able to use you, they will gain control over the affair of the nation. And when they work against you, certainly they will lose everything. What's the body language of those who have been able to discover themselves? When they talk, they tell you where they come from. But then the underlying truth there is that the fluid and the shaped of experience we have as a people, we have not been able to manage it. When you talk about fluid, it just means a substance that does not have its shape, but can be forced to become anything that they want that thing to become. Fluid, by definition, it's just maybe a liquid. It does not have its own shape, but by pressure, it can become anything. That is the pressure we are bearing today. And so if you are a minority in Nigeria, understand that it is time we let our experience as a people to help us to discover ourselves. And so for once, we can be able to project to the next generation in Nigeria that you will not be judged by your tribe nor religion. You will not be judged by your connection to the cabals and Hasniga, but by your capacity, your inbuilt, what you can deliver. I know you are not understanding, but don't worry, let's be going. Today, as we speak, nobody can fight war in Nigeria for two reasons. If you come out, you want to fight war in this Nigeria, it doesn't matter who you are. A force you have not been able to identify nor recognize will hit you. And I swear, you will not survive it. I don't care the tribe you are. You can be Yoruba, you can be Hausa, you can be Igbo. Pull the shot. You will wish you never did that. But that is by the way. And so, who is going to lead the war? There will be no war. And as far as there will be no war in Nigeria, none of you can disorganize Nigeria. It then implies we must begin to suffer until we discover ourselves. But you see, when you are pushed to the wall, you will bounce back. And so, invariably, every pressure they are putting on you as a Nigeria, based on the simple fact that they have discovered themselves, it will boomerang in no time. Karma will catch up with them. But then, the journey has to begin with self-discovery, which is the key to growth. Today, we cannot grow as a people because we've not been able to discover ourselves. That we merely don't exist. The pressure that has been placed on us as fluid. If we do not, woman, and you are who you are. But I've never heard all my life an Agbo man jumping everywhere and saying Yoruba people are Agbo, Yoruba people are Agbo, Yoruba people are Agbo. I've not heard about it. I've never heard about other tribes, Ikore people. Back now, that is what they do. Once you begin to tell them the truth, they begin to attack the page. And then ask yourself a question. Why are they attacking the page? I tell them they will not stop us.